Coming up next on Street Outlaws. No, it's just funny. It's just me! Alright. Thought we'd make a short video about valve adjustment, because for whatever reason it seems to be something that is a continual source of misery for engine builders. But anyhow, I thought we'd make a short video, so if you get lost at the racetrack or whatever, can't remember how to do it, forgot, never knew in the first place, you can go on YouTube, pull this video up, watch it real quick, and you're ready to go. So this works on any four-stroke racing engine, right? Or Subaru, Audi, Lamborghini, doesn't matter. Even real Street Outlaws, it doesn't matter. It works on everything, right? So let's go over this real quick. It's super simple. Doesn't need to be. You don't need to remember your firing order. All you have to do is have 4 strokes. You got 5 strokes, 6 strokes, 3 strokes. You got a problem. So let's go over this real quick. All right, here we go. Here we have a racing engine. Okay, the fact that it's a racing engine doesn't matter at all. It's the same as whether it's in a Subaru or anything. Doesn't matter, right? They all work the same. So the thing that you need to remember is that you adjust the rockers at the right time, and all you have to remember is this: when the exhaust valve is opening, adjust the intake. When the intake valve is closing, adjust the exhaust. All right, and that works on any motor. Doesn't matter what it is; it'll work on anything, right? Now, what you got to, for me, the easiest way to remember this is that it won't work any other way. When both valves are closed and you turn the motor over in the direction that its operating direction, the first valve to open will be the exhaust valve, not the intake. So when that happens, you know that the intake is on the base circle, and therefore you can adjust it there at that point. So right now they're both closed, right? We're going to turn the motor over in the direction it normally runs. Boom, there we go. The exhaust valve is opening first. Well, that means that this one's got to be on the base circle, or else this thing isn't going to work, right? So now we can adjust this rocker, right? Simple as that. Let's adjust it. We're going around. Open up the intake. It's opening. All right, now it's closing. When it's closing, we know that the exhaust has got to be on the base circle. Guess what? That means it's time to adjust it. So when the intake valve is closing, adjust the exhaust. For whatever reason, this is a sticking point with racers and people in general. They have a hard time remembering this. Some people try to do it by the firing order, which is great if you work on the same type of vehicle all the time. In my case, I work on a lot of types of vehicles or engines, and I can't remember what I had for breakfast today, so I'm not going to be able to remember firing orders at all. Some engine builders can remember everything like that. This is not one of them, or I'm not one of them. Okay, next thing, on race cars, and this may start a little bit of a war, but in my opinion, I'm not one of these guys that wants you to micromanage your rockers, right? Every time you have the rockers off, you're going to set it at X amount, and if it's 1 or 2 thousandths different, you're going to get out your feeler gauges and you're going to reset it. No, don't worry with that. What you're looking for at the racetrack is big problems, or the starts of big problems, because if you catch it in the early phases, you can save yourself a whole lot of grief, right? I would much rather have a racer who pops the valve covers off after every pass and bumps through the motor real quick than to have a racer who adjusts the valves one time every time they go to the racetrack and gets them exactly right. I'd rather have a guy just check it with his fingers once every pass than a guy who meticulously checks it once at one time every time they go to the racetrack. I would much rather have that, right? And what I mean by that is, after the pass, once you pop your valve covers off, you can check this out really quick. It doesn't take but a second. Watch. Intake. Exhaust. Exhaust. Intake. Exhaust. Intake. Exhaust. Intake. All right, I just did that side. I found no big problems. We're ready to go back, put the valve covers on, do the other side, and go back to the next lap. I'd much rather see guys do that every pass than to dial them in absolutely perfect one time every trip to the track or every two trips to the track. You're going to catch stuff way quicker, in my opinion, if you do that. Even with your bare hands, once you've done it a few times, you know where they're going to be at, depending on the temperature of the motor. You know what you're looking for is one that's different than these other guys, right? If you got one that's got a good bit more lash, you want to measure that, compare it to these, and see, all right, well, this one's got 10 thousandths or whatever more lash than this one. All right, well, we got what's going on here. Why is that? And that's where if it's bad enough, you may want to stop, pull something apart. Are you wiping your push rod out? Is the lifter taking? You know, is it leaving the party here, or is we got valve problems and seats or whatever it is, right? You can catch it in the early stages. You can save yourself a whole lot of grief and money. So anyhow, that's my tip for the day. Like I say, you can go back on YouTube if you forget or can't remember. Problem I have all the time. But anyhow, when the exhaust opens, check the intake, adjust the intake. When the intake is closing, you're on the base circle of the exhaust, check the exhaust. And that's it.